Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Monday, April 7th, 2025. In this video, we're going to see if we can get a little bit of some um, tarot information about the Internal Revenue Service here in the United States. You see, alt media has been speculating, and some people in alt media are even saying they have it on authority that the Internal Revenue Service this is the last year that it's going to be um, an operating entity in the United States. And I thought, what a great tarot question. Now, President Trump hasn't been that decisive about it yet, but even on April 2nd, when he had his Liberation Day event and was speaking, he discussed the External Revenue Service, the E.R.S, as a potential replacement for the I.R.S. And there's numerous posts on X where talking about how he suggested the shift would abolish income taxes, shifting the United States revenue to tariffs on foreign goods instead of taxing Americans. It isn't a new idea from him, but it's one of his most recent public mentions, and it reinforced his January statements, which were to that effect, that the Internal Revenue Service could probably be done away with. Oh, that would be nice. I would like that. Um, and I'm sure I don't think anybody would oppose it, except maybe those people who earn their living from working for the Internal Revenue Service. By the way, this past week there was an announcement that 25% of the IRS workforce would be done away with, regardless of any changes that have or haven't happened. So it looks like it's scaling down, scaling back, and maybe on the way to being um, a historical department we had instead of a current one. But let's just ask the universe for some insights and information about the Internal Revenue Service here in the United States. I'd like to put a yes or no element to the question, so I'm going to ask if this is the 2025 is going to be the final year that the Internal Revenue Service operates as it currently does, plus additional insights and information. So we'll see if things are changing. Hopefully, we'll get some tens and ending cards that say, yep, it's going away. Let's find out though. I'm going to change the camera, let you watch me work with the cards, and we'll discover the answer together. Okay, let's see what the universe wants us to know about the Internal Revenue Service. Again, the yes or no element to the question is going to be, is 2025 the last year that the Internal Revenue Service in the United States is going to be in operation? And we'd like a future outlook information as well. So let's see what's going on with it. I think this would be a great measure to shift some public sentiment to the positive that needs to be shifted. I think that'd be excellent. Okay, let's see. We've got the Five of Wands. We have the Strength card. We have the Nine of Wands, which is indicating almost an ending. We have the Eight of Pentacles, the Emperor, King of Wands, and Six of Pentacles. Okay, I'm going to move these so they're a little more closely in camera range. Appreciate your patience while I do that. Home production, guys. Staff of one from thumbnail to distribution. Okay, let's take a look what we have here. The I.R.S. is indicated with the Five of Wands. There's a lot of events happening that are serving to downsize it. It is it's not permanent in nature as far as the pushback or resistance to it. Fives are temporary in nature. Now let's look at what's clarifying it, the Strength card. Okay, there is going to be very good rationale and data to support the not just the downsizing, which I definitely see indicated here, but eventually doing away with the Internal Revenue Service. And we will get more cards before we're done just to see what else the universe wants us to know. The beleaguered universe, the beleaguered Internal Revenue Service is also indicated here. Again, nines are kind of close to closure and ending. It is kind of the end of a chapter. There are persons within that agency that are determined to have it remain in existence, and those are ones that uh, there's nothing that could be said that would make them believe that the United States could and should function without an internal revenue service, that an external one is sufficient. However, the progress being made with the external revenue service and with the tariff incomes that are changing and the tariff agreements that are changing. I understand over 50 countries are now negotiating into reducing or abolishing tariffs that the United States had. What does that do, guys? It makes American goods more affordable in other countries, which raises demand, which raises work positions for people in the companies that produce items. So good things are coming, and there's way more to come. Way more to come. That's the current card. Let's look at the near future with some insights. Okay, it is the Emperor is showing up. It is absolutely on the docket and well on the way to the Internal Revenue Service going away. I do know one truther um, said that, well, I'm not going to say what he advised because I don't advise, but was very definite that this was the last year and maybe even only partial year. The King of Wands, vision and leadership. So all these changes that are happening are well thought out, absolutely well thought out. And it does look like within 2025, we're going to have, we've heard some chatter that there's some checks that'll be heading out to all um, taxpayers. And I think this card showing some measured generosity is an indication of that. So it does look like in 2025, we can be expecting some sort of um, tax break, bonus, rebate, however it's phrased, but some sort of um, kind of a universal check sending out to adults in the United States. It's not going to be all that we'll get eventually, but it's going to help us over some over the hump. Let's just say that. Let's get a few more cards so what the universe wants us to know. We've got the Two of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Cups, Knight of Swords, and the Three of Wands. Okay, I think the cards are pretty definite that things are changing within the IRS. I'm not getting necessarily, although I wish I was, I'm not necessarily getting the message that the Internal Revenue Service is going to be done away with in 2025 completely. It does look downsized, less tax burden, more money back to taxpayers as the audits continue that DOJ is doing. So that's really good. These four cards here also have some information for us. Let's look at what it is with the Two of Pentacles. Again, pentacles are tangible goods. So I was expecting a lot of pentacles in this read. I was also expecting a lot of wands because wands are about events, fast-moving events. It's a fast-moving energy type card. And then I'm not surprised to see some cups show up because cups talk about emotions. So let's see how these all kind of work together. We've got the Two of Pentacles, again, just letting us know that they're balancing wants and needs, and they're not going to completely do away with the Internal Revenue Service until the External Revenue Service is on a footing that can easily justify it even in the most dubious of minds. So that tells me it's something that's in progress. It is something that's what they're working towards, but it's going to be a gradual lessening of the one as the other one starts bringing in more revenue. The Seven of Cups, people are going to, there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Okay, there's going to be some false information out there. I've probably already heard some too. I was hopeful about some of what I heard, but I tried to be cautious so that I could have some pleasant surprises instead of rude awakenings. In other words, yes, I plan to pay my tax obligation and live responsibly in the realm as it currently exists until it changes. But I do so saying that doesn't mean I consent to have it continue 1 minute more than it has to. It's just me trying to be a responsible member of the realm. So there we have that. Now let's look at the last two cards. We got the Knight of Swords. Again, a lot of energy to move forward with this plan is indicated here, as well as the fact with the Three of Wands that the path ahead is clear. Hasn't been fully set out on yet. We know that. We saw that here. We saw the resistance here. We saw the fact that there's going to be something happen in 2025 that will benefit adult taxpayers, but not necessarily, the ending we are hoping for. But it does look like final days for that agency, and especially it's not going to be, at least under the Trump administration, and hopefully in any that follow, it's not going to be what it was, the behemoth that was a bully. So those days seem to be going away, and high time, and wonderful to hear that, isn't it? So let's recap. There's been a lot of chatter in the alt media community, as well as statements by President Trump to the effect that there is a sincere hope and desire to have the External Revenue Service create an income stream for the United States sufficient to do away with the Internal Revenue Service. And there's some people saying it's already a done deal. I thought, let's take a look at it and see what's going on. So we asked with a yes or no element to our question, is it possible that 2025 is the last year that the Internal Revenue Service will be in existence operating as it currently does? We did get a nod to the fact that change is in the wind for that agency, but we didn't get any confirmation that it is completely going away this calendar year. So just be advised about that. Now let's look at a few of the cards that kind of gave us that information. First of all, the IRS is indicated with the strife and conflict of a temporary nature that is indicated with the Five of Wands. The clarifier was strength. So those changes are coming, even if there's some resistance to it. Nothing can stop the changes that are coming to that agency. The recent past showed the Nine of Wands. Again, this is close to an ending. It is 2025 then is going to be close to an ending for the Internal Revenue Service. And they're going to bring some things forth, some change. It's going to be some reduction besides the size of the agency and who the target for revenue collection and auditing, etc., is going to be changing, and there's going to be more to come. So it does look like it's going to happen. But again, not necessarily there's something happening in 2025, but there's more to come, and it's good stuff. Okay, the near future. It is definitely a priority for President Trump, his administration, and the White Hats in general to reduce the tax burden on regular taxpayers. We've also heard some talk that they're going to raise the amount of who needs to file a tax return quite a bit so that most normal average Americans won't need to file taxes. And that would be a good thing to have happen too. There's it's a well thought out plan, guys. As this change rolls out, as the External Revenue Service increases the income flow into the United States, the revenue flow, they'll be able to lessen what is needed or expected from the Internal Revenue Service. It's a well thought out plan. And again, where I got that was with this card showing that there was going to be some balance so that we wouldn't completely be without one and depending on another until the revenue stream kind of has solidified and shown itself to be consistent and dependable. It did look like there's something coming our way in 2025. This is kind of a measured generosity card. Always. It says something good's coming your way. It's not going to be, the answer to all your financial dilemmas, but there is something coming your way. And I've felt from day one that one of the reasons they prioritized cleaning up the Social Security Administration was to have Social Security numbers tied to actual living legal residents of the United States or citizens of the United States so that they could get something out to us, and us being people that are genuinely functioning members of this society and this culture, and it could head our way. And that's one of the reasons it was prioritized. Again, no matter what you say, I believe we have a current administration that's very people-centered, despite the fact that so many of them are millionaires and billionaires, just an eye to what happens with regular people and what our concerns are and what can help. And I really appreciate that focus. I really, really do. A lot of energy out there to make this change happen. And they know where they want to go. The path is clear. So the IRS is going away. I don't see it going away completely in 2025. But it does look we're going to get more and more good news about how the the amount of influence and reach that the Internal Revenue Service has is going to lessen, and things are changing. And they're changing for the better for the American taxpayer. And that's always good news to hear. And not a false one, not like printing more money and sending us, inflated dollars that aren't backed. Good change is coming, financial as well as in other areas. So I love seeing that. I know you do too. Well, that's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and your attention. I do have a little short announcement to make. Unfortunately, this is the second attempt at a video I made today. I started one, didn't get to as far as the cards are, I would have kept that going. And Alieska was video bombing me left and right. She wanted to be loved on. And so she was in my first attempt at a video. So for those of you that know or care, hopefully that's all of you. I mean, we got to have a heart for other people and other living beings, right? Alieska is 14 and recently had some health challenges. She'll be on thyroid medicine for the rest of her life, but she's doing a little bit better. And she had the energy to get up here and make a pest of herself, and I loved every second of it. And I was hoping she would be on camera for those of you that know her, because she's been with me now for 14 years. So she was here when the Tarot channel started. All right, but now she's napping elsewhere. Anyway, that's it for this video. I thank you for your time, your attention, your viewership. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much. And if you take the time to listen to some of the ads that I have no control over, other than the fact that I won't let them do in the middle of my videos that YouTube puts on, hey, thank you, because I get a little bit of that ad revenue, and that's the only way the channel makes any money, and that's the way I want it. I'm not going to ever make you pay to listen to something I create. So I don't think my words are worth that much to start with. And number two, I just don't want to be a PAY patriot. Until next time, I send you, if you're willing to receive it, love, light, and I wish for you everything bright. Bye.